everyone's talking about African fashion, African fashion, African fashion, we get so caught up in the textiles. There's so much more than African fashion. This is African fashion. This is African fashion, actually. This is Mimi Plange. This sits right next door to Tory Burch, the Diane van Furstenberg, so you would never guess it. Because African fashion is more than just our textiles, but it's also the creative forces behind it. People think, well, the African continent, do people really have money to spend? I mean, on expendable goods, is it not just, what are they buying? Oh, we have money to spend and we're spending it. You know? I mean, I think Fatima made that point very clear. We're spending it. We're not spending it on cheap things. We're wearing Louis Vuitton, we're wearing YSL. Why don't we wear some of our own things too? We can mix and match it a little bit. When we look at the amount of consumer spending that's actually taking place in the continent, people don't really look at these numbers and compare it overseas. You know, everyone's talking about BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China. Well, guess what? When we start to really compare these numbers, $860 billion in combined consumer spending. Now, that's more than India, that's more than Russia. Now, I understand I'm speaking about Africa as a continent and not just one country, but you know what? You gotta start somewhere and look at all. Look at it all and just beat it down. That's what we're doing with Mali. We're starting with Mali and looking at those consumers within Mali and inviting those consumers to the marketplace. So they're not just gonna be looking at the fashions going down the runway and then going home and daydreaming about how they would love these items. We're actually gonna get them to buy them right off the runway. It's
Also for the local designers, we want to make sure that we showcase them because we don't get these types of opportunities. Even here, a lot of designers don't get the opportunities to go to do Mercedes-Benz.
We're also in the Climate Network Journal.
When everyone was looking at India and wearing these beautiful sari and inspired dresses, and all that did was open up these doors for local designers. So right now we're going through the exact same thing with Africa. Africa is it. It's the new black, it's the old black, it's the green, the red, the pink, all of it. You know? And there's so much momentum that we can just hold on to and run. From the continent, you're African from the diaspora, whether you use the textiles, or even if you just look towards the continent for inspiration that's not the obvious forms of inspiration. You know, at the end of the day, we're all creative, and it's not just a matter of looking at a textile or a pattern and replicating it exactly. This is all African-inspired fashion, and this is all so different and so diverse and so beautiful. And there's so much more where that's coming from, right? We're going to see that in Mali.